Greetings viewers and welcome back to the review program. In this episode we are going to talk about the judicial system with a specific focus on the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan. The judiciary system of Uzbekistan is structured to uphold the rule of law, ensure justice and protect the rights of the citizens. The system is hierarchical, with the multiple levels of courts that specialize in various types of cases. The Uzbek judiciary system includes 5 main levels of courts: constitutional, supreme, higher economic, regional, district and city, and military courts. What functions do these courts include? Constitutional Court. This court ensures that laws and regulations comply with the Constitution. It has the authority to review the constitutionality of law, presidential decrees, and government resolutions. Supreme Court. As the highest judicial body in civil, criminal, and administrative cases, the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan oversees the uniform application of the law across the country. It handles appeals and provides final rulings on significant legal matters. Higher Economic Court. This court deals with economic disputes, including issues related to commerce, trade, and business activities. It plays a crucial role in solving conflicts in the economic sector. Regional, district, and city courts. These courts handle a variety of cases at the local level, including civil, criminal, and administrative matters. They are primarily point of contact for most citizens seeking judicial intervention. Military Court. The courts address legal issues related to military personnel and matters of national security. In this episode, we decided to give a particular attention to the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan. The Supreme Court is the highest judicial authority in civil, criminal, economic, and administrative proceedings. The acts it adopts are final and binding throughout Uzbekistan. The Supreme Court has the right to supervise the judicial activity of lower courts. The Supreme Court of Uzbekistan undertakes the control over the implementation of explanation of plenum of the Supreme Court by the other courts, carries out the complex analysis of judicial practice and judicial statistics, organizes measures to improve professional skill of the court staff. Now let's analyze the structure of the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan. The Supreme Court is headed by the chairman Bakhtiyor Islamov. The court also consists of the first deputy chairman, the deputy chairman, chairman of the judicial boards, the judges of the Supreme Court. It operates with the following structure: Plenum of the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan, a Presidium of the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan, Judicial Board on Civil Cases, Judicial Board on Criminal Cases, and Marshal Board. In May, Tashkent hosted the 19th meeting of Chairmen of Supreme Courts of Shanghai Cooperation Organization member states. Judicial authorities of India, Iran, Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, and Russia attended the event. We also had the chance to cover this event. Prior to the meeting, the participants observed a minute of silence in memory of the President of Islamic Republic of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, and other officials who had died in a plane crash. At the opening of the meeting, advisor to the President of Uzbekistan on coordination of law enforcement and controlling bodies, Nonyor Kadyrov, read out the address by the President Shavkat Mirziyoyev to the participants of the event. Following the opening speech, the meeting has officially started. The chairman of the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan, Bakhtiyor Islamov, hosted the event. The head of Supreme Court touched upon the results of the short-term strategies action program for raising the judicial system to a qualitatively new level for 2023-2026.
Как результат этой работы, во-первых,
as a result of this work, the courts of the Republic are provided with high-speed internet and an internal protected local network. More than 30 information systems have been introduced, which allow for electronic access to the courts. The court information system has been integrated with 50 information systems of more than 30 ministries and departments. A portal for interactive services has been created. The types of remote online services for citizens and entrepreneurs have been created. In terms of standard-setting services, the Supreme Court has developed 60 draft normative legal acts, of which 1/3 have been adopted to date.
As you can see behind me, the high-scale event has already kicked off. Several bilateral memorandums were signed within this SCO meeting, in particular with China, Kyrgyzstan and Belarus. Priority attention of discussion was on reforms to ensure the rule of law in the judicial and legal system. The participants exchanged information on law enforcement, improvement of legislation and other topical aspects of judicial activity, including through visits as well as participation in more than 40 major events covering all areas and spheres of multilateral cooperation. The meeting considered a number of topical issues aimed at further intensify cooperation of the Supreme Court of the SCO member states in ensuring the rule of law, rights and legitimate interests of citizens. Taking into account that the fight against human trafficking, one of the threats of the century that recognizes no national borders, is a priority task for the entire international community, including the SCO states. The meeting discussed the judicial practice of considering criminal cases related to transactional human trafficking. It also emphasized the importance of systematic exchange of experience in this area.
Well, each of these issues which are being discussed during the course of the 19th meeting of the SCO member states has been chosen very carefully by both the SCO organization and by the Chief Justice of the Uzbekistan Supreme Court. And I believe that all of them are crucial to issues which are of common concern to our societies and to which we have to find answers. After the morning session and the introductory remarks, we have been discussing about human trafficking. Now, human trafficking is not just something which affects one society. It affects all societies across the world, and particularly in the SCO countries, which represent 42% of the world's population. It affects our young citizens, women, the marginalized citizens, and therefore it is important that we all find joint strategies.
There are technical issues where speakers have started. I've heard some speakers, so I'm here to learn as well as to share my experiences. So I look forward to the continuation of the conference, and with the speeches that were just started. Initially there were the introductory remarks by the Chief Justices, the Presidents or the Chairmen. Some places they are called Presidents, some places they are Chief Justices, and some places they are called Chairpersons. In your country it's Chairman of the Supreme Court. In my country I'm the Chief Justice, the equivalents. So looking forward to participation and being here and sharing experiences from very diverse countries with diverse experiences.
The judicial authorities discuss aspects and prospects for the development and widespread use of mediation in civil proceedings. A common interest was expressed in the deepest study, and understanding of its essence is one of the main mechanisms of dispute settlement and achievements by the parties of mutually acceptable solution. It was emphasized that practical interaction between the Supreme Courts of the SCO member states contributes to a further improvement of joint activities in protecting the rights and freedoms of citizens, strengthening justice, law and order, and creates conditions for deepening judicial and legal reforms. As a result of the meeting, a joint statement on the prospects of cooperation between the supreme judicial authorities of the SCO member states was signed. The final document reflects the relevant decisions on the topics of the meeting and the holding of the 20th anniversary meeting of Chief Justices of Supreme Courts of the SCO member states in China. Looking at these functions in the Supreme Court, we can see that the efforts of those who work in the system to contribute and work on the development of the judicial system. Women also play a significant role in this progress. We went to the Supreme Court of Uzbekistan and talked with one of the judges of the court on her experience in this field. She also shared some insights on the recent event and the functions of women in this sector. Thank you so much for agreeing for this interview. We're really glad to have you in our program. So recently Tashkent hosted the Forum of Supreme Courts. You were also there leading the delegations. What were the outcomes of the event?
Nice to meet you, Kamila Khan. You're absolutely right. Recently, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Uzbekistan hosted a great international event, the 19th meeting of the chairmen of the Supreme Courts of the state members of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. As we know, Shanghai Cooperation Organization is one of the most influential international organizations which plays an important role in strengthening neighbor lines, friendship, ensuring peace and stability in the region. The meeting gave us a unique opportunity to create a platform for discussing regional problems and current issues on the field of justice. The meeting was attended by 9 state members such as Russian Federation, Republics of Belarus, China, India, Iran, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. And the program of the meeting consisted of about 40 major events, which were included not only active exchange of information and experience, but also visits to the courts and the state branches of justice systems such as Ministry of Justice, High School of Judges, and High Council of Judges, etc. During the event were signed 2 sides memorandums with China, Kyrgyzstan, and Belarus. And of the meeting were signed among all of the members of CSO countries agreement. It named the joint statement of the meeting. And of the official part of the meeting, we due to our hospitality, we used a good chance to show our guests, international foreign, our colleagues, to show our diamond of West, historical, cultural, and national center, city of Samarkand. We tried to combine business with the joy and pleasure, and I think we handled it very well.
Mm-hmm. What was on the agenda of the event, and what did you take for yourself from your foreign colleagues?
Participation in this great historical honorable event was a very good chance for me. The reason is that Uzbekistan may host such kind of meeting only once in 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I may say that I'm one of the lucky judges who had such rare chance. We have been prepared for this occasion, for this meeting whole the year, and all governmental structures were involved in this process. And when I participated in the meeting, I saw that it's really worth it. The agenda was very important and current. The agenda included all current problems of the modern justice system. The first of them was the human trafficking. All we know that human trafficking is the modern form of slavery. It violates human rights, and it doesn't recognize borders, national borders or state borders. That's why this problem was chosen like the first and the most important problem of the region. And there was noted that very important to communicate and to cooperate in this field and systematically exchange experience on this sphere. And another issue was development of the institution of mediation. Extremely was interesting to hear a report of China. As they say, due to large of population of the country and lack of court resources, considered the best alternative version of solving disputes is mediation institute. And they said that Chinese philosophy doesn't welcome conflicts, and privilege is given to the harmonization of human relations. And that's why Chinese government tries to study people, teach people from their childhood to solve problems, conflicts, by coming to compromise. And it seems to me very good solving of problem, and we may implement this method in our policy too. And because we just always upset when we saw that close relatives or even siblings prefer to solve their legal problems in courts than at home or mahalla. In this point was very interesting report of Iran. They had such kind of institute like our mahalla, and chair of the gathering of citizens had influential, very significant role to solve problems of the mahalla by mediation institute. Another questions, another points of agenda was protecting property and owners' rights, digitalization of justice, and development of administrative justice. As I myself judge on administrative cases, it was very interesting to me to hear reports of Russian Federation and Kazakhstan about their reforms in this sphere. And I was really astonished to hear how much achieved Kazakhstan, our near neighbor, in this field in a short period. And we're planning now to organize another conference with Kazakhstan judges to exchange experience in this field. And we are planning to organize a conference in August with Kazakhstan after that.
Okay, now let's talk about the structure of Supreme Court of Uzbekistan. What are the most popular cases that the judges deal with on a daily basis?
Well, Supreme Court of the Republic of Uzbekistan is the highest branch of the system of justice. And it has 4 panels on criminal cases, civil cases, economic cases, and administrative cases. Also, it has such departments like legislative department, on international relations, on communication with society, statistics, IT, and situation center, etc. And the last year statistics shows increase such kind of cases like credit debts, disputes, divorce proceedings, dispute on illegality of hakims, acts, and tax disputes.
How many male and female judges work in the system?
Nowadays in Supreme Court works 70 judges, and 57 of them are men and 13 are women judges. This statistic shows that women judges amount about 18% in Supreme Court. But through the whole Republic, through the system of justice, amount of women judges are about 14%. It's not very many, and we know that it's a real problem, and we are working on it. I should mention that Senate of Uzbekistan adopted a gender strategy, and their targeted aim to increase amount of women judges till 30% till 20 and 30 years.
Why are there less female in the system? What cases are given the most to the women?
In my opinion, the reason of lack of women judges we should analyze more deeper, beginning from the graduates of the University of Law University or the High School of Judges. As information, I want to mention that quarter century ago, when I studied at the University of Law, there were only 5 girl students among 50 students, and the same situation was approximately in every group. But nowadays, girls of new generation are more active, and they are more brave in choice of profession. And besides this, the second year, High School of Judges allocate quotas for women lawyers who want to become a judge. So I think we'll see the results of this change and reforms in the near future.
Why are most women involved in family and women cases? Is this due to the education or their fear in the job?
You know, Komilahan, in our system, it doesn't matter, man or women is a judge, because cases are given not personally by the chair of the court, but automatically by the e-court legal system. It's an electronic system, and there are no limits or privilege to any judge. So it's not very right opinion that women judges are only solve cases on family. From the beginning of this year, we launched like an experiment specialization of family cases, and you know, it was very interesting that not only women judges but also men judges were chosen like family judges on family cases.
Okay, now if you don't mind, I will move on to personal questions. What are the pros and cons of being a female judge in Uzbekistan especially?
As I work in justice system more than 10 years, I have already experience in all 3 branches, and I see only cons of the system, and I don't see any pros. Let me say you about cons of this profession. First is this work is very noble work, and when judge solve any complicated case, he feels such self-satisfaction. And it's a really very hard work, and we are happy when we come to right decision in complicated trials. So I think it's self-satisfaction is one of the most. Ability to come to right decision helps in personal life too. It's very important in our personal life too. The other thing, this profession teaches us to manage time, to plan our time, to be more patient and to empathy to people. And moreover, this profession motivates and stimulates not only judge, not only me, but also my children and my family to be better and to work on themselves. I don't see any negative sides of this profession, maybe because I love it very much and this profession became style of my life, more than only profession.
Are there any common challenges that you and your colleagues face on a daily basis?
One of common challenges that really don't like judge is falsification of real conditions of the cases, but by non-professional bloggers or advocates, and efforts to influence to judge's decision on the exact case. Unfortunately, misinformation and wrong information is very trustable, and people very easy trust wrong information. It makes us upset. This problem makes us upset because it brings to undermines of people to the justice.
What would you advise to young specialists, girls who would like to become judges and lawyers in the future?
I advise them to develop soft skills like empathy, skills to listening carefully, patience, because most of people who come to the court, they are victims of violence or people whose rights were broken. And an important note for young generation of judge should always remember that it's not only profession, it's style of life, because we have our ethic code, and rules of this code regulates not only behavior in workplace and in work time, but also regulates behavior of after work time and after work place. We should always remember about our status of judge and should be always an example to follow for society.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation with you.
Thank you, Kamila Khan. It was very pleasant to conversate with you. Hope to see you again.
So here our analysis comes to an end. Thank you for watching this program and see you in the next episodes.